What's up, everybody? We're back here at 757 University. As always, it's yours truly, Coach T, and to my right is
Coach Jacks. Everybody, what's going on?
We've been gone for a minute. Regular season had to go. I had to leave Coach Jacks, had to coach and do my thing. Now that my season is over, I'm back, and we're able to get back rolling here at 757U. We got two big games going on right now, Coach. Playoffs are coming soon. Third round of playoffs, regional finals this week on Friday night. We got two big games, 757. Game number one in 6A, you got Oscar Smith High School versus the defending state champ Ocean Lakes Dolphins out of Virginia Beach. The second big game is you got Indian River High School from Chesapeake, taking on Hampton High School over at Darby Stadium. Undefeated Hampton, led by quarterback Von Quillen. So what I want to do right now, folks, is we're going to jump right into the two big playoff games. Let's start off with a very highly anticipated matchup. The big Goliath game, 6A here in 757. We got Ocean Lakes, we got Oscar Smith. Coach, give me a quick breakdown. How do you see this game going? Because a lot of people are saying Ocean Lakes and it might not be close. What are you saying?
You ever know a guy that just always find a way to get out of trouble? Like, he was in school and, like, he go to the principal's office, but the principal never called his mom.
Right. He didn't go to ISS.
He didn't go to ISS.
They found a way to escape.
He was like doing his taxes and he messed it up.
But he didn't get caught.
He didn't get caught.
So who is that, Coach?
That's Oscar Smith. I'm like, you can't. You gotta take your hats off because
they find a way to win.
You find a way to win.
They find a way to win.
That's the mark of a great team. But I'm just saying, man.
Not this week, huh?
Some of this stuff, man.
Not this week.
Like, okay, they're not gonna be playing Indian River this week.
No, not Indian River.
I don't think it's gonna be one of those fluky games where something happens and that's supposed to happen. I think that the hourglass for Cinderella
has ran out. The clock has struck midnight.
And where are we not right now when we're talking about Oscar Smith as a Cinderella?
We get to that later, but let's think about this. Indian River has them on the ropes. This is back in week 5, first week of October. Indian River has them on the ropes for 4 quarters. And when I say 4 quarters, I mean 47 minutes total. With a minute to go, Oscar Smith, down by 12, runs a reverse option pass to the quarterback. He catches it for a touchdown. Indian River is still up. It's 14-9. All they have to do is get a punt off. The punt gets partially blocked and returned down the sideline for a touchdown, and Oscar Smith escapes. Then, Coach, 2 weeks later, against Western Branch is down 2 with a 4th and 5 from the 12-yard line, but because it was in the middle of a hurricane, Coach didn't elect to kick the field goal. He went for it and got stopped, and they escaped again. Then, last week in the playoffs, down 7.
They won it again.
Down 7 to Grassfield. 2-minute drill, down the field, touchdown, win the game 20-19.
But you know what? If you've been watching football at all this season, that means you have to know. Michigan State will tell you, you got to play the whole game.
You got to play special teams.
Look,
you got to play all 3 phases of the game.
Look, if you lose a game, it's a part of the game that you weren't totally successful in. You can't say that you won every facet and phase of the game.
Right.
If you have an L on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tell anybody. Look, I don't apologize for no wins, and there are no moral victories.
That's right.
So it's some portion of the game where you lacked in, like it's just something. If you can't hammer down that game, when you got to put your foot on the throat. Mm-hmm. You got to be able to finish them off. If you don't finish them off, then you get in these highlight type of games where it's this fluky stuff happening at the end. It's just they're well coached, and you can tell when a team's well coached, stuff like that falls your way. It's not luck.
Right.
It's a combination of preparedness and opportunity.
This is what it is. And I'm going to say this about Oscar Smith as somebody that's coached against Oscar Smith, played against Oscar Smith and Coach Morgan when he was there. Oscar Smith is like water. If you have something that has any crack or any hole in it,
Don't find it.
Oscar Smith is like water. It's going to find the crack. It's going to find the hole. That is a credit to the coaching staff and the pedigree of that team. Now, when we look at the game against Ocean Lakes, to wrap it up, Coach, the question is, does Ocean Lakes have a crack?
Speaking of water, Ocean Lakes is the water.
What are you talking about?
Ocean Lakes is the water that's going to find the crack. And this team,
they're going to find the crack in Oscar Smith.
Defense is okay. That passing game is all right, but that not having the ability to run the football,
Yeah, they have struggled. Oscar Smith has struggled running the ball all year.
You can't run the football now. We're gonna talk about the running game in another game that we talk about. But
Oscar Smith struggled running the ball.
You can't run the football against this
team. But the point is here at 757U,
it's not gonna be.
Oscar Smith is tough to beat because they find ways to win. But when you're dealing with a team in Ocean Lakes that, at least on paper and on the field, does not have a weakness, honestly, I think Oscar Smith can hang around at least for the first half, simply because of their coaching staff and their experience. But as we saw last year, this is just going to be part two. Last year, it was a 5-point game going into halftime. And then in the second half, superior talent and superior size took over. And the biggest thing here, Coach, is if the running back for Ocean Lakes, if LeBron is healthy, if he's healthy, then in the second half, I see Ocean Lakes pulling away.
Well, this is the thing.
If he's not, then Oscar Smith could hang around for 4 quarters by default.
This is the thing. Great coaching will keep you in games up until a certain point. Now,
but eventually players
at some point, especially when you're getting these negative runs, 3 and outs, you're not going to be able to contain a team that explosive, especially when they're going to run the football. Regardless of if their top back's not there, they got 2 or 3 guys waiting in the wings that can get those carries.
K-Park, Womack, Taylor, they're all healthy.
You don't have to worry. That's not even an issue. The thing is, the well coaching, the game plan, situational football is going to keep Oscar Smith in the game up until probably about that midway part of the third quarter. Then you start seeing the horses. American Pharaoh, all those other horses was in the race until the third leg. And eventually you just start seeing the athletes. I think it's going to be a pretty contested contest early, but I'm going to be picking this one. I'm thinking Ocean Lakes 32, Oscar Smith 20.
32-20. I was thinking something like maybe 35-20. I was thinking the same thing. It's a good football game in the first half. They're gonna be playing at Oscar Smith, I do believe.
Yeah.
And the Tiger Cage will be rocking. There will be some momentum early, and Ocean Lakes is gonna have to take that first punch from a team that's got the momentum behind them. But after that, superior talent will take over. Now, going into our next game, because I don't want to spend the whole segment on just these 2 football games. The next game, Indian River and Hampton. Now, I'm going to say this, and we talked about this earlier before the show.
You know what I'm about to do.
Hampton is,
try to be respectful.
To me, Hampton is a one-trick pony. Hampton has a great, phenomenal athlete at quarterback in Von Quillen. This young man may be one of the top 5 athletes in our area. I'm not going to take that away from him. He is a great football player. But when I look at their schedule, and I look at the teams that they've played in the Peninsula District, and I look at the teams they've played in the playoffs, what I say to myself is, you don't have but so much offensive firepower. You're a good offense built around a great player, but you don't have but so much offensive firepower. And when I say that, Quillen is primarily, true or false, primarily known for his ability as a runner.
He's a duplicate quarterback.
Right.
We all know this.
And when you go up against a team, when you go up against a team in Indian River, who I still say has one of the best front sevens in our state, led by Yulee and Beckett and those guys up front. That team is built to neutralize whatever you do in the run game, whether it's the running back, quarterback, it doesn't matter. They are built to neutralize that. So if you take away Quillen's ability to run the football, do they have the ability to beat Indian River in a passing game? That's my first question. My second question is this.
Can I answer the first question?
No, I'm going to give you both, then you answer them both. If the second question is this, Hampton always plays tough defense. They play tough defense. But has Hampton faced a team with the weapons on offense that Indian River has?
Well,
answer those questions.
I'm going to say this. For one, it's strength from his strength with these 2 units. The Indian River defense and the Hampton offense.
Hampton's run-oriented offense, right.
Now, this is the problem I'm going to see here with Hampton being a primary quarterback run threat. Now, the offense is going to be pretty good from 20 to 20. But see, when that field starts to shorten and you don't have all these wide open lanes, you don't have to guard 60 yards, you don't have to guard 40 yards, you just got to guard maybe 20 and in. That playbook starts to shrink, and you have the ability to be able to have linebacker spies, people be able to stay in, to be able to watch the quarterback.
Spy him.
And they have good enough
down in the box and spy him.
They have good enough athletes to be able to guard the wide receiver for Hampton because they're not spectacular. They're a pretty decent unit, but they have some pretty good guys over there.
The best receiver in the PD plays for Phoebus, not Hampton.
So they should be able to at least be able to keep them honest on the outside. And, I think it's going to be one of those games like Indian River been playing basically all this season. They don't score a lot of points. One of those knockdown dragouts. It's going to be a couple of field goals missed, something like that, to be late possessions that's going to be able to just, tell everybody what's going to happen in the game. And as far as Smith offensively, I just think that they start. In the river. I just don't think that they try to run the football consistently enough for me. I mean, you have a great athlete at quarterback. He can compete the deep ball, but everybody knows that around this area, you have to run the football. That's why we talking about Arthur Smith. And
are you talking about yardage production? You're talking about touches?
I'm talking about we are going to run this football.
Okay, so you're talking about 25 carries or more.
We're going to run this football. We're not going to, first down, throw the ball. Second down, throw the ball. Third down, throw the ball. We need to run the football. Because if you don't do that, you fall into Hampton's hands because they want you to get into a passing game because they want to hold the ball and run the clock.
Right, so they want you to have short possessions.
Exactly. You get behind the chains, you're throwing the ball all the time, you're going to have short possessions, they're going to try to hold on to the ball because you know that the quarterback's going to have the ball 90% of the time. So you want to be able to control the clock, shorten possessions, and be able to make your physical presence known because we all know that this can be a really physical offense if they can get their stuff together and get it in gear and then just mow down some teams.
Yeah, they're very big up front.
Make it ugly. Get all those builders. They got a pretty decent line. They got some numbers. They got some D1 kids on that line.
Yeah, they got some big boys.
So you got to take those guys and say, look, we're going to have an attitude. We're going to set the bar. The team that sees us next week, if we win this week, they're like, man, we don't want to face those guys.
Well, I'm going to say this. Coach Farabee is known for his desire to throw the football and his ability to throw the football offensively. I think last week when they played Kickertan was up in that game, I believe, by 1 at the half, like 7-6.
It was a 7-6 game.
But in the second half, Tyron Smith, the running back, in the 21 that you're talking about, took the game over. Literally, that's what he did. So I think if they play to the strength of their superior athlete on offense, which is Smith, and if they establish him early, then what will happen is, in the second half, the weapons on the outside will get one-on-one matchups, and Tyree Givers-Wilson, the quarterback, will be able to do what he does best, which is throw a bomb down the field.
This should be a run-action team, period.
Right. If they run the ball first, don't try to establish the pass first and keep Hampton in the game, because Hampton's base 4-4 defense that they run and have ran for decades is designed to bring pressure, stop the run. What you have to do is say, no, we're going to impose our will, we're going to run on you.
Exactly.
Because a team that is already in a 8-box scheme cannot do anything else. If you are running the ball on that 8-box scheme, they have no adjustment. Right. The only adjustment they can make is go cover 0 and bring a free safety down. Well, when they do that, now you're one-on-one with Hunter. Now you're one-on-one with Best. And what you create is opportunities for these guys to make plays. If you sit there and allow them to sit back in the cover 3 shell and you keep trying to throw the ball deep or throw intermediate routes, it's going to be 50-50. And that's going to keep Hampton in the game.
And see, this is the thing I say too. Now, when you got your athletes on the outside of your Indian River, you can still give them a bone. I'm not saying totally abandon the passing game.
Just establish the run first.
You establish the run. You get your short passing game going. You get your screen game going, and get those guys the ball in the open field. Let them make some tap. Let them make some guys miss. Be able to get some big plays in that way. But you don't want to be stopping back. You don't want to get in the game where you're dropping back, 5-3, 5-step drops, patting the ball, looking down the field, throwing the ball 30 yards in the air. You don't need to do that. You got guys.
Establish the run first.
Establish the run. Short passing game, play action, then you throw your 20-yard bombs. And I think if they can do that, because they're going to need to at least put up 20 points on this team.
Do you agree? Yeah, and I think they will.
I don't think they're going to be able to escape these games moving
this
forward,
is not going to
scoring
be
13 points.
If this game is 13-10 in the fourth quarter, look out, Hampton, because with Quillen, as athletic as he is, you can keep him in check for 3.5 quarters, but if he breaks one, that could be the game breaker if you're in a game where you're only up by 3 or up by 5. What Indian River needs to do is hit him in the mouth early. You're going to be at Darling Stadium. You're going to be on the road. Circle the wagons, run the football, hit him in the mouth early, and put him away late. I like Indian River in this game. I'm thinking 26-17, something like that. About a 10-point margin, 9-point margin. I see the defense, to kind of sum it up, Coach, I see Indian River's defense not only just slowing down Hampton's run attack, but I see them making a play here. Whether it be causing a turnover, Beckett is probably the best cover linebacker we have in this state. He's returned multiple interceptions this year for touchdowns. I see one of those linebackers or one of those defensive players, because Hunter plays in the secondary, he's a free safety. One of those guys making a play, I'm going to say this, Coach, making a play either late to seal it or early to hit Hampton in the mouth and let them know, nah, you're not gonna run away with it.
I was thinking along those lines of a late game play.
Yeah.
Put over top.
Something to put them away.
I'm thinking 24-21. I'm thinking
close game.
Late game field goal, maybe overtime.
Close game.
Maybe overtime field goal to win it. Just because it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a couple of those plays, and it's going to be probably like it was like for Andrew these last few weeks. It's been a stalemate first half, punches. They jabbing each other, trying to fill each other out. A couple of scores late. Those athletes make plays. I just think that it's going to be the inability of the team to not be the score in the red zone is going to be the key to the game. And I think, like we talked about, like I said earlier, the do-it-all quarterback against the stout
defense
front seven gets kind of slim there, some slim pickings. So you're going to have probably 3 or 4 red zone opportunities that go without points. Yeah. So I'm thinking this
not touchdowns at least.
Yeah, not point. And you can go for it on 4th down, you can get nothing.
Right, and that's basically in a nutshell. The last thing I'm gonna say about this game is this: special teams could come into play.
Special teams would be special.
For 2 reasons. Number one, we've seen Indian River lose a game because of special teams, but we also know that they have a Division I athlete returning those kicks. So it could go either way for them.
If
Gibbons
Wilson throws the ball more than 20 times, then they gonna probably lose this football game.
Okay, that's fine with me. That's
my caveat.
And I'm gonna say this. If Tywan Smith,
if he gets 15 to 20 touches,
if he gets 15 to 20 touches,
they gonna win this game.
The game is over. The game is over.
It's not gonna be close.
I seen that young man against Hickory have 300 yards of offense on 12 touches.
It's a 20 touch.
If he gets 15 to 20 touches, he's
20 throws. No, that's not gonna be the formula.
Now that we've given you all that, what we want to do, we've been off the air for a few months, obviously because I had to go away and coach. What we want to do is let you guys know at home that you heard our 2 picks, Ocean Lakes and Indian River. Those are our 2 picks, both of them by double-digit margins. Now, we don't want to forget about our other 757 teams that are competing in playoffs right now. In the 3A bracket is Phoebus, the 4A bracket is Lake Taylor. Now, Coach, I know your feelings on this, especially with Phoebus. We've had a lot of issues. We're going to talk about this in other podcasts. We're not going to spend all day on it today. But there's been a lot of issues in 3A with our local schools playing against teams that, quite frankly, are inferior competition. I couldn't say that for the 2 months I was coaching, but I can say that now. They're inferior competition. You should not be in the playoffs with a 1-9 record. You should not be in the playoffs with a 2-8 record. You should not be, as a 9-1 Phoebus school, playing playoff games upon which you've outscored your opponents by 80 points in 2 weeks. But they are a 757 school. They are in there. We wish them the best of luck this week against Poqouson. And I'm going to say it here. We ain't got to take much time on it. Phoebus by at least 28, and I'm going to leave it at that. Now, same thing with Lake Taylor. Lake Taylor played a very tough game against Kings Fort last week.
They should have lost.
Many people, they almost did lose, Coach. Many people felt like that was the subpar 4A state championship, Lake Taylor and Kings Fort. It's a good football game. Wayne Davis dominated the second half and scored late with a minute and a half to go to put Kings Fort out of the playoffs. Lake Taylor has, I believe, Hanover this week, Coach.
Yeah, Hanover.
And what I'm going to say about Lake Taylor is this, and this is the one thing I want to wrap up our show with, that we're going to be starting a new initiative here at 757U. Please come out and support these kids. Now, what we want to do is give you the information on some of the things we have coming up here at 757U. We have scheduled our first
exciting times
annual combine. It is a postseason combine. It's going to be held on January the 9th at Virginia Beach. Great Game Athletics. The owner is Chris Sykes. He's one of our biggest partners and helps us with a lot of stuff. It's going to be at his facility down in Virginia Beach. What's going to happen is you can do your online registration right now. It's on the website. It is $25 for a 3-hour combine. Coach, I don't know anywhere else where somebody's going to get 3 hours for $25. People don't even work 3 hours for $25.
Look, let me tell you something. And then Chris is the real deal.
You go to the website, click on this link, it'll take you to this site.
This guy is the ocean with dumbbells and stuff. Dude, just like
he is Rocky, but it's not Hollywood.
Yeah,
he is Apollo Creed, and it's not Hollywood.
He doesn't hit nobody yet.
He is all that.
Yeah.
Now we're going to be doing that. Now here's the ticket. It is 8th grade through 12th grade. Now what we're doing here, it's a 2-fold combine. There's going to be strength training. Chris Sykes will supervise the strength training. There will be weight training there. We're going to be doing bench press. We're going to be doing power clean. We're going to be doing squats. All those things, snatches. Everything that needs to be recorded and measured for your athlete at home from a strength concept. All right, all these things will be recorded, the data will be taken, and it will also be video recorded as well as pictures taken. We will have our media people there. These things will be recorded and put out on social media as well on the website. Now, the other half of the combine will be done by myself, Coach Jackson, our partners on the coaching staff. What we'll be doing is the agility drills and so on with your athletes. We'll be measuring a 3-cone. Coach will be measuring a shuttle. We'll be doing all these things as well as stuff to make long jump, vertical, everything. All of these things will be done to see to it that the data for your athlete is recorded both from the skill set standpoint as an athlete as well as the strength standpoint. And you say, Coach, well, what is the point of a postseason combine? Well, number one, for you seniors, there are many seniors right now in our area that have not been offered yet. Many seniors in our area right now that have not committed anywhere because they didn't get the offer they want. Well, guess what? All the data on these young men is at least, what, 6 months old?
Yeah.
Okay. Was taken back in the early summer or even early spring.
Yeah.
So the data on these guys is old. A lot of times what happens is the data changes. A kid gains weight, loses weight. A coach wants to see did he maintain his strength during the season. Okay. If he suffered an injury, did he maintain his agility? All these things will be measured and taken into concept.
Well, another thing you have to realize too is your body type has changed since the last time you may have did a measurable or did something in the springtime. Your actual body and whatever you do changes after season. So what you want to be to do is be to match that up.
Now that you know all the great things that we got coming up, we've also partnered with the Beach Field House in Virginia Beach. We're going to be doing position-specific things in February and March with them. So stay tuned to the website and you'll know exactly what's going on and where your child needs to be at and for what reason.
Like those dates will be on the website.
Yeah, they'll be there.
Once we start doing some stuff a little bit later, we're going to wait for this holiday season to kind of pass. Then everybody gets back in the field and we'll be to do all of this stuff and we'll be indoors. So we'll look out for that.
Just to wrap it up so you understand what we're doing, we know the playoffs are here. We know the season is almost over. But we're letting you know now, come January, one of the things that we're hitting the ground running with at the beginning of the year is an initiative to come out and support these student athletes. As I've said before and I'll say it again, if these young men were doing something negative, if they were getting into trouble, if they were, God forbid, shooting each other, stabbing each other, or fighting each other, there would be media coverage on it. There would be everybody and their mama standing around taking pictures, posting stuff on YouTube, etc., etc. These young men are out here playing football. They get done with school, they go to practice, they work hard right here playing football. And the sad thing is, the ones that are actually doing a really good job of it, Lake Taylor has, I believe, 5 Division I kids on their team right now that are committed, okay? Yeah. These kids are doing a very good job of it, putting a great product on the field. And all I can say as we leave this broadcast is why. Why are we not having standing room only to come support our kids? So please, stay tuned to our website so you know what's going on. But that's one of our new initiatives coming out. Support the kids in the community. Because whether you're wearing the shirt or not, you're still a member of the 757. And always remember, no matter where you're at, rep where you're from. I'm Coach T. That's Coach Jax. Tune in next week, and let's get this thing popping in the new year. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
All right. Watch those playoff games.